After the death of his girlfriend, Ethan Beckerman moved from the small, rural town of Fleming to the big city of Cleveland in Ohio to focus on his career. Spending a few months working odd jobs, waiting at tables, and working behind the register, he continued to apply to a number of jobs that actually suited his credentials. And it was rather sooner than later that he was called to an interview at BII Mobiles. Ethan was happier than ever, but come the day of the interview itself, when he walked into the office, he was a bit nervous meeting the CEO. She was quite an attractive woman, perhaps 5 or 7 years older than him, but she looked like a no-nonsense woman. Ethan had his doubts if he would actually get the job. "Welcome to BII Mobiles, Mr. Beckerman. I'm Miranda Hansen. Take a seat." "I've taken a look at your resume, and I have to say I'm quite impressed." Impressed? He barely even had any experience. But to his surprise, the interview was quick. Miranda was really nice to him. She didn't ask him much. Every word she spoke, she said it with a smile and hired him. "I'll be looking forward to working with you, Mr. Beckerman." "Thank you." As Ethan walked out the door, Miranda's secretary and a close friend of hers stepped in, watching her staring at Ethan. "Did you hire him for his merit or for his good looks?" "Well, you have to admit he is gorgeous." Jenna picked up Ethan's resume. "So because you have a crush on him, you hired this inexperienced small-town boy. What were you thinking, Miranda? You would hire a Clark Kent thinking he'll turn out to be Superman? Hey, don't underestimate, okay? And it's not like I'm getting any younger." From the moment Miranda had set her eyes on Ethan, she fell hard for him. She was a bit doubtful if he would feel the same way about her, especially since she was his boss. But there was no harm in trying. Besides, she had an advantage here. On Monday morning, she called for Ethan to visit her at her office. "Miss Hansen, did you call for me?" "Yes, come in, Ethan, and call me Miranda." "Oh, all right, Miranda. So what do you think about these project plans? I could use your opinion on this." Miranda always thought of excuses to having Ethan come over at her office. She always made him feel important and took his advice on things, and it was sooner than later that they became quite friendly with each other. "Well, look at that. I didn't even notice where time had gone. It's time for your break, right? Would you like to go out and get lunch with me?" "So you're new here to the city. Do you have any family here?" "No, I moved here on my own, and I've been living alone. And someone like you is single in a city like this. Will you fire me if I'm not?" "Well, that depends. I guess I'm still searching for the right one. And you?" "I have someone of interest." It was from one lunch to the other that Miranda and Ethan started to become really close. And before they knew it, they started dating. Yes, the company of course had a strict policy about dating coworkers, but he was dating his boss. And yes, Miranda was older than him, but they connected in a way Ethan hadn't connected with anyone. He realized he had been searching for someone like her his whole life, someone understanding and mature, someone who he could trust. In the next year, Ethan had gotten a big promotion at the company, and that too, solely on his merit, unlike people would think. He was now making good money and rented a bigger place and asked Miranda to move in with him. "Move in with you? No. How about you move in with me? Like people already don't think I'm taking advantage of you." That's quite humorous. You can't take advantage of the boss. The boss takes advantage of you. With a little bit of convincing, Miranda agreed to move into his apartment. And once they started living together, life was just bliss. Miranda was a lovely woman. Though she was his boss, she was all over him. "Try this out and tell me if you like it." "Wow, this is really good. I didn't know I was dating a cook too." Time felt like it was flying as Miranda and Ethan progressed together. For the past month, Miranda had been really focused on work. She and a few other executives had held a meeting to discuss the downfall in their revenues. So they settled on launching a new face for their advertisements, and after a long search, Miranda had selected a model. "Ethan, I'll be really busy at a meeting. Can you please manage the photo shoot with the model? It'll be her first day here and I need someone responsible over there to handle everything." Yeah, don't worry about it. Ethan took all files and headed over onto the sets, waiting for the model to arrive. She's not here yet? She'll be here soon, don't worry, I don't think this will take long. She's a professional, one of the best in the States. Everyone on set was really praising this young model. Ethan was actually a bit eager to see who this face was. But the moment he heard those distinct heels tap into the room, he turned to stare at the beautiful woman. He was dumbstruck. She looks just like her. This young woman looked identical to his ex-girlfriend Lindsay. But it couldn't be her. Lindsay was no more. She walked up to Ethan and smiled. Hello, I'm Rose Evans. Ethan just stared into her eyes. Lindsay's eyes were different. They were the deepest of greens like emeralds, and so was Rose's. The way she smiled, the way she flipped her hair, this was unbelievable. A look-alike so similar? Hello, Rose said, waving at Ethan. Hello, I'm Ethan Beckerman, COO. I'll be managing this photo shoot. Nice to meet you. Ethan couldn't stop staring at Rose through the whole session. Everything about her reminded him of Lindsay. Almost as if she was Lindsay. But she wasn't. Maybe his mind was just playing games with him. She said she was Rose, not Lindsay. She was only a look-alike. But as much as Ethan wanted to shake it off, over the next week, Ethan was distraught seeing all the similarities Rose had, from the things she liked to the way she behaved. If she was only a look-alike, then how could she behave just like Lindsay? Here's your latte, Miss Rose. With cinnamon and vanilla and agave, no sugar. Yes, miss. Perfect. Ethan remembered Lindsay always obsessed over her diet. But what was mind-boggling was how she and Rose had the same taste. Ethan used to bring her the same cinnamon vanilla lattes. At the end of the first week, the team was hosting a little celebration on completing the shoot. Alright, so we're all settling on shrimp then. Rose looked at Ethan and shook her head. No, isn't Ethan allergic to shrimp? Why don't we order pizza instead? How did you know that? Know what? That I'm allergic? Rose chuckled. You must have forgotten. You mentioned it to me when we were talking before. No, Ethan didn't. There was no way Rose could have known that. And this was too bizarre of a guess to make. You'll be with me during the press conference, right? Yes, I will. You should wear blue. It suits you, brings out your eyes. Ethan watched as Rose waved him goodbye and went out the door smiling. Lindsay used to compliment him whenever he wore blue. Ethan was getting freaked out by everything that was happening. A part of him said this was Lindsay, and a part of him knew she was dead. He was going crazy, and he needed to know if this was really her or not. He took out all her files and papers. Everything fit Lindsay's description to the point. He stared at her pictures for hours. There was no explanation to the uncanny resemblance. In desperation, Ethan finally decided to secretly follow after Rose. Where does she live? Does she have any family here? After work, he got into his car and followed her across town. It seemed that she lived all by herself in a small one-story house. Ethan's phone suddenly vibrated. It was Miranda. Where are you? I've been waiting to have dinner with you. I'll be a little late. Don't wait for me. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Just a little overwhelmed with something. Miranda didn't like the tone of Ethan's voice. He obviously wasn't at work, so where was he? Recently, Miranda had been hearing a lot about Ethan at the office. Hey Miranda, I think there's something you need to know. What is it? You're not gonna like hearing this, but I think your boyfriend is crushing on the new model. It's like wherever she goes, he follows after her. The way he looks at her, something's not right. What? No, Ethan isn't like that. Miranda brushed the rumors off, saying it was bogus. but it obviously came back to her. For the next few days, she started to keep an eye on Ethan, and to her dismay, it all turned out to be true. It was like Ethan was stalking Rose. As a matter of fact, when Miranda had gone into his office, she had found numerous pictures of her on his desk. Were the rumors all true? Was he falling for someone else? When this went on, Miranda decided to confront Ethan. And one night, after he got home, she frankly asked him, "Are you okay? Why? People have been saying a lot about you, and I couldn't help but notice. Is there something going on between you and Rose?" The look on Ethan's face suddenly changed. "No, it's nothing like that. It's just that I dated her back when we were in Fleming, or at least, I dated someone that looked like her." "But it can't be her, because she's dead." "So what now? You want her because she looks like the love of your life, your dead ex-girlfriend? What is it, you're not attracted to me anymore? You're attracted to her?" "No. Nothing like that is ever going to happen. She's not the love of my life, it's you." "Then why are you so obsessed with her? Because she looks like your ex-girlfriend." "It's not just that, Miranda. It's everything about her. Her eyes, her hair, the way she talks, the way she walks. I don't know, but it feels like it is her. The things she knows, the way she behaves." "You've gone crazy, Ethan. Why don't you just admit you still have feelings for her?" "I don't know, I can't explain to you why I feel this way." Miranda stepped back, looking at Ethan. She shook her head as she stormed out the room. "Miranda, wait! Leave me alone. I just need a break." Ethan sat all alone in his room. He didn't know what he was going to do. Everything felt like it was falling apart in his life ever since Rose came into the picture. Things couldn't go on like this. He needed to find out. So that night, he drove out to Rose's house again and broke in through the back window. The lights were all off. The house was silent. As Ethan stepped down the hall, peering into each room, he suddenly heard footsteps behind him before the lights flickered on. He turned to see Rose staring at him. "Did you just break into my house?" "Tell me who you are. Are you Lindsay? Tell me if you're Lindsay," Ethan shouted. All of a sudden, a smirk appeared on Rose's lips. "You know I'm not Lindsay. I can't be Lindsay. Didn't you take her life with your own hands?" Ethan and Lindsay first started dating in their senior year of high school. Lindsay was on the cheerleading squad. She was one of the most beautiful girls in the school. Although she was Ethan's girlfriend, Ethan was awfully jealous and possessive of her, especially since a lot of boys gave her attention. She had dreams of becoming a model one day, and after they graduated onto college, Lindsay's struggle to build her career began. And so did Ethan's possessiveness increase. And it was one day that she opened up to him about an offer on her hands. "Look, Ethan, I was called by the IIB production studios today, and I spoke with the director. So how did everything go? He wants to spend a night with me, and if I do it, he promised he would launch me." "Did you laugh right in his face? You don't need that job." "Yeah, I guess not. Another opportunity is bound to come around." Ethan had faith in Lindsay. She would never do something like that. But about a month later, when he realized she had gotten the job at the IIB production studios from the same director, he became suspicious. It wasn't long before the dirty rumors reached Ethan. And when Ethan called her and wanted to confront her, Lindsay began to avoid him. And before he knew it, she went to Columbus with this director for her first shoot. But that didn't stop Ethan. That very night, he traveled to Columbus and went to meet her at the flat she was staying in. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" "Why don't you tell me what you're doing here? How did you get the job? You betrayed me." "What? No, it's nothing like that. I guess he just gave it a second thought. Don't lie to me, Lindsay. You slept with him. I don't have to explain anything to you. Whatever we had, it's over. No, you will tell me the truth. Then yes, I did sleep with him. I did it for my career. What was I supposed to do? Give up on this big opportunity because of you? This is what our relationship meant to you? I'm sorry, Ethan, but I can't be with someone like you. You can't boss me around. I have my own life. In this heated argument that night, Ethan ended up hitting Lindsay. She had fallen to the ground and snapped her neck. But even then, Ethan was still enraged. He set the flat on fire before he escaped from there that night and returned to Fleming. And the next day, he got news from one of her family members that Lindsay had passed away in an accident. It was so tragic. She had gone there to start a new life, to start her career, and it was cut short by this accident. Ethan had attended her funeral. He had shed a few tears with her friends and family. Everyone there believed he was in town the whole time. And when he left for Cleveland, they continued to believe he left in heartbreak. They would never suspect it was him who killed her. Ethan stared at Rose in horror. How do you know that? Rose chuckled. You see so many people around you. You think all of them are people like you? That night, after the funeral of Lindsay Cullen, when everyone had left to their homes, when the graveyard was silent, someone or something had caught sight of her body. After Rose had devoured her body that night, she had not only taken her form, but also inherited her memories and characteristics. Don't worry, these bodies don't last long. Someday, when this body will start to wear out, it'll be discovered in some hotel room from a drug overdose, and I'll move on to my next vessel. You're a ghoul. Rose laughed, seeing Ethan's fright. I won't tell anyone if you don't tell anyone. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.